something you might be interested in.
They've got like a hole in the top, so when you sit in,
These things still work though. I love how it's sparks. It's not hard. Yeah.
That one's 20.
Yeah, you certainly. You going that way?
Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't. I guess we got table stuff that I can put out.
It might be sold.
How much?
I think it's $20.
It's nice for the guys or people waiting.
Tell them you can have the shuttle for free.
Those are not mine.
One more, I think.
Abigail Wickett, you have just won a Star Wars Saga Clone Commander Cody and Mos Eisley Sand Trooper donated by Star Wars Collectors Expo. Please report to the registration table to collect your prize. Thank you.
You like that footage? That was from last weekend's 80s Toy Expo, which was held in Mississauga. Yeah, it's a nice little event, held a couple times each year. A lot of vintage toys, a lot of new toys. Yeah, and some really cool stuff. Now, unfortunately, the weather last weekend was absolutely horrendous. In fact, probably one of the best, one of the worst April weekends we've had in a very long time. We practically had a snowstorm. The roads were terrible, so you know the turnout wasn't quite as good as it could have been. You know, but that said, it was a good time. People that did show had a good time. I know I did. And I managed to pick up these while I was there. I just thought I'd show you them because we have a few minutes to kill before Jose and Mike show up. So I thought I'd just show you some of these. I think you may have heard me mention this before. These are lobby cards, movie lobby cards. And this one obviously is from The World Is Not Enough. That's the one of the Pierce Brosnan James Bond films. And lobby cards were very popular right from the 1920s right up to about the early 1990s when they stopped making them. And as the title would suggest, lobby cards were put in the lobby of movie theaters. So when you went in, you'd see different scenes from the film. And typically a set of lobby cards would be between, I think, 6 and 12 in total. This is a 12 card set. And I actually got a really fantastic price on these. I paid $30 for the entire set, which is astronomical because they're in mint condition. They were never posted. So there's no creases, there's no pinholes, no damage whatsoever. And it is the entire set, so I'm really happy with it. And yeah, so that's what I picked up this weekend. Didn't spend a lot of money. Money's kind of tight right now because I'm having a couple things filmed at Retro Rare. and I also have a Alien poster out being restored at Backing to the Future. So yeah, I gotta be kind of conservative, but yeah, I'm really happy with these. So yeah, that's all I picked up. Oh, I also picked up a Star Wars vintage action figure, a Hammerhead figure. Only paid 20 bucks for it. It was in very good condition. Came with a blaster, and that yes, that was it. 20 bucks for the action figure, 30 bucks for the lobby cards, and yeah, that's it. So anyways, I'm not going to waste any more time here because Mike and Jose are on their way over, and I'm going to go over there, get set up, and I think you're going to like what we have to show you tonight. We've got some really fantastic books. I think Thanos has really become one of those major upper echelon villains. Those are, you know, A-lister villains that when you get a comic book with Thanos on the cover or a Turbo Thanos, I think we all like to collect them, don't we?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm only, I think, one book shy of the original Thanos freaking saga that involves Captain Marvel's for 25 to 33, Avengers 125, Marvel 2-in-1.
Okay, we get the point. We get the point.
Yeah, but
anyways,
this is a great new book.
This is a great new book, and Mike has brought this in to show us this tonight. So tell us, Mike, tell us a little bit about this book.
Okay, well, I've been collecting the series from number 1. Jose had showed number 2 and said,
Great cover.
Just great cover, buy it.
Yeah.
Then the story got really groovy. In episode 13, that's Frank Castle, who is, you know, the Punisher as Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah, it's hot in the market right now.
Yeah. At the end of time, I'm not going to give away any spoilers and stuff, Thanos has a pet Hulk.
Yeah.
This book popped. It's now 30 bucks in that condition. US, unreal. But I've also noticed something that hasn't been mentioned within the series, and that is, and it's probably because we need to read a little more before the bloggers and the before the people who do the wiki updates, and even Marvel even reveals. But there's Silver Surfers in this. It's the end of time, so anyone cosmic's there. Most superheroes are dead. But I digress. The Silver Surfer doesn't look silver.
Really?
And that kind of ties into something from a series that ended 30 years ago that you had mentioned, the last panel of Silver Surfer Volume 1.
Okay, I'm getting old. About the Black Silver Surfer, is that what you're talking about?
Don't you remember in the issue 18 of Silver Surfer, it said, be prepared, wait for this next issue.
That never happened.
Oh,
Yes.
that was actually Jose that mentioned that, not me.
Oh, I thought it was you, but
yeah,
anyway,
I know the episode. I can't remember which one it was.
I thought it was the last issue of Volume 1.
Yeah, in the issue 18, they said,
Yeah, they kind of say that, but okay, so they call him Norrin Rad, they call him Surfer, and he doesn't look silver in this issue. Not just this book, but all of the issues connected to that he's in this series, he does not look silver at all. Just saying, maybe by the time a few more books come out, that'll be revealed.
Might be revealed, yeah.
I mean, there's already a few that I haven't read yet, so.
Great cover, though, man.
Yeah.
Great cover.
Cool.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yes.
Okay, next up we got Jose, and he's going to be doing one of those traditional new old book segments where we start with a newer title, and then for the second book, it's an older title, and are they related in some way?
Yes, we got some Dead Man action going on here in this new vintage segment here. Yeah, he's the spotlight in this one. Of course, this is Dead Man issue number 1. This came out a few months ago, November 2017, but whoa, 90s gimmick alarm. Don't turn out the lights, but this issue features a glow-in-the-dark variant, which I bought. I think we're only missing the bullet hole variant now. Come on.
Does it glow in the dark, really?
Yes, well, don't turn out the lights, but it should glow in the dark, yeah.
Let's see, hold on.
Hit it.
Nah, I can't turn off the light.
No, don't do it. We're just going to be in the dark. Yeah, but take our word for it. This is the glow-in-the-dark variant, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, what else are we going to have? Bullet hole variants, Rob Liefeld, come on down. In any case, I remember being intrigued when it was picked up from our local Retro Rare last November. But, I mean, come on. You know, Neil Adams, Dead Man, Batman. What can go wrong? I'm not sure. I'm rooting for this, hoping it's good, and I've picked up a few issues, and it's pretty good. Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, as much as I like the new books, I'm into the vintage stuff. So let's get to the reveal. The second book here for our vintage segment is Strange Adventures, issue number 216 from February of 1969.
Nice.
Of course, this is the last Deadman issue in Strange Adventures. The story, all this has gone before, but I still exist. Again, also picked up from our local Retro Rare. Now, for Deadman fans, it would be overstating the obvious to say that Neil Adams' Deadman series comes to an abrupt end in this issue of Strange Adventures. Now, the story continues several months later in the pages of Brave and the Bold, issue number 86 from November of 1969. After the cancellation of the Deadman series, Strange Adventures becomes a reprint book, cover featuring Adam's strange stories from Mystery in Space for the most part, but with also Atomic Knight reprints running as well.
Yeah.
Deadman, of course, first appeared in Strange Adventures issue number 205. A young Neil Adams took over the art with the second issue and completely made the feature his own.
That's for sure.
He brought a new level of realism and cinematic complexity to the pages, reflecting a shift to a more serious and quote-unquote mature material. After his initial series ended, Deadman has continued to play a role in the DC Universe over the decades, most recently as part of a Justice League Dark, a team that features and is made up of supernatural heroes. Now, this series became an animated movie for home video, and it was released last year in 2017, introducing Deadman to a wider audience and a new generation. Now, popular actor Nicholas Turturro voiced Deadman in that series. A live-action movie has been talked about for several years now and might still come to fruition if it can ever escape from development purgatory over at Warner Brothers. Of course, the uber cool factor for me personally in this pickup from Retro is that this issue contains one of the most famous comic book Easter eggs. In one panel on page 13, there's a secret message by Neil Adams as a tribute to artist Jim Steranko.
Really?
Yeah. In this panel, Neil Adams creates a Jim Steranko effect that also literally spells out, hey, a Jim Steranko effect. The 47th overstreet price splits at the 6, 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits for this book are 27, 57, 111, and 165 US for the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits. It's a nice higher grade, mid-grade copy. What do I mean by that? I think about a 7.5, just shy of a VF grade. I mean, I paid, I think a little under $80, which, you know, it's about $60 US for about something approaching a VF. It's right about guide. I'm not going to quibble with my local. I mean, Sandy knows I'm a big Steranko fan. The good dealers know what they're giving you. And obviously, as soon as he put this in front of my face, I recognized it for what it is. He knows what a big Steranko fan I am. We both share a passion for the artist. He has several copies of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1.
Cool.
I mean, it's a great pickup for me. It adds to my Steranko collection and picked up for a good price.
Fantastic, Jose. Very nice book. And just to reiterate what Jose said, the significance of this book is it's the last appearance of the Deadmen in Strange Tales.
And it's got that hidden tribute on page 13 from Neil Adams to Jim Steranko.
Yeah, and so definitely worth picking up, a key and a great Steranko cover.
Well, not a Steranko cover, a Neil Adams cover.
Neil Adams cover. See, you're messing me up here. Okay, leave it to Jose to show us all up. But anyways, thanks for bringing it in, Jose. Fantastic book.
Hoy, hoy.
Okay, so next up we've got Eagle-Eyed Oog, and he's got a Spider-Man combos, 2 really fantastic books he's about to show you. So what is it we're starting with here, Mike?
We're starting with Marvel Team Up, Volume 1, Number 22, The Messiah Machine. Picked this up at Hagenland, one of the cons. Really nice high grade, about an 8.5.
Oh, so this is, we're talking nice, like upper.
Yeah, it's
we're
up
getting
there.
up there.
It's up
Okay,
there.
that's a good book.
So you can get this in the cheap for around the 7s and whatnot, but I digress. It's a Ramita cover, Danny Crespi. You know, and the value of this particular one, volume number 22, is a little higher because it has the apparent death of Quasimodo. Although Quasimodo seemingly perishes here. He resurfaces again into Fantastic Four 202. Also at this time, in the storyline, Hawkeye had recently quit the Avengers, and he also had quit the Defenders. Now, Quasimodo also mentions that he got his humanoid form from the Silver Surfer, and that happened in annual number 5, 1967. So there's all kinds of tie-ins to all the major runs when the team-ups and the Marvel 2-in-1s go on. Like, there's a lot of continuity between the two. So it's a great read, fun action, and these are generally inexpensive runs to pick up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they're great fun. They're 70s books. You've got the great artists. I mean, for $11.25 US.
So basically, you're getting a book. Although it's not a key with respect to a first appearance, there are some significant events that occur, or some significant, I guess, reveals.
The tie-ins, because this is a few bucks more than the rest of the run in the same grade. By far, it kind of jumps up. There's 2 or 3 of them within the series that do.
Yeah, Marvel Team Up is one of those things that I've actually got on my radar. I've just made a small kind of like cut list of minor key issues that I should be looking for, and if you want that info, I'm willing to share it with you, Mike. This is now the next series that I'm going to be mining for these minor keys, and you're right, buy them in the best grade that you can, and they so you never know what's going to pop. I'm going to be into it for the next few months. This is a good book to actually mine some of the minor keys on.
Absolutely, I got the notes on my phone already.
So what's the reveal under the second book there?
Jeez, I don't know.
Well, what could it be? Oh, we got the main title here. We got an under 100 Amazing Spider-Man, number 84, 15 cents. So this is going to be an early Bronze Age, early 70s book.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got to find my notes onto here. Just give me one.
Of course. The Kingpin Strikes Back. Now, it's
Spider-Man.
interesting. The Kingpin, I've just recently got a few, in the last week, I got my CGC book back. So, viewers, look in a future episode. We're going to be featuring a CGC only review episode. 51 came back exactly at a 6.5 second Kingpin.
Well,
this is a great book.
That's not the only CGC you got. You got a lot of them.
Oh, I got 24 books, but let's let Mike talk about this. This is a nice Kingpin cover.
Okay, the Kingpin Strikes Back. You know, I opened this up and read it because I just wanted to make sure the grade is the grade. Hagenland, I don't even really have to try. Those guys are always spot on.
Yeah.
They always give you a great deal. I give it a 7.5 all day long. Paid $37.50 for it. I did step up. If you're gonna step up on one book, might as well be an Amazing
might as well Spider-Man.
right?
Most collected Marvel series.
I could have easily gone to the con and bought one book in the first 5 minutes and said, "Okay, I'm done. Can we go home now?" What's the point? That's, you know.
Dickering, man. Do not blow your wad.
Exactly in 1 second.
Take a look around what's there. Do not make a purchasing and a regret, and then leave yourself short-handed for the rest of a con.
Question the again, we got to question the realm, but then when I go to eBay and see at a 7.5, what
raw
are they
or obviously looking raw for prices.
Raw, but I'm looking at I look at slabs to see if I'm close to the grade, like as far as like am I seeing any flaws on the cover that grade wise? Anyway, so Realm has this at $122.50 for a beautiful 7.5 run book. Now, John Romita cover. I did open up and read it. Spidey thinks it's an easy payday to capture the schemer.
The schemer being Kingpin, yeah.
The schemer is scheming to... The schemer... No, isn't that a different character?
The schemer is an alias for who is actually the Kingpin.
Yeah, so he
is
runs
revealed
into
to be
him,
the
there's
Kingpin.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah.
It's great action, great fun, great read. A run can be fun to read too.
Hey, that's rhyming. Run can be fun. You said it. Yeah.
Happy with that. It's one I needed. There you go.
As you can see, when we're pricing these books, we tend to go back and forth between either the Overstreet Guide and the comic book realm.
I tend to be the key guy, so I'm being more conservative.
Well,
Mike is not as key-oriented,
But also, the comic book realm is much easier accessible. I just got to go on the internet. But I do find the comic book realm prices... You got to take them with a grain of salt. I tend to think, well, obviously, I don't even have to say this.
And the high grades are completely out.
They're out to lunch.
I think you got to split it between the two, down the middle, like you had said.
Okay. Anyways, my point I'm trying to make is, I mean, I guess the realm will give you sort of a ballpark idea what the book is worth. but it's by no means accurate. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
And you also always have to keep in mind the market will dictate largely what a thing is. And their dealers tend to discount some books. Now, Spider-Man is not going to be one of those books affected, but for a lot less popular titles in the mid-grades for non-key issues, they're going to heavily discount them. So some of these books, run books from other titles that are not as popular, sometimes you can take as much as 30, 40, 50% of what the realm was saying because they're not going to move at that price. You could price them at that, but if they don't move, they know they're going to have to discount them steeply to move them on.
Exactly.
I think the realm has an algorithm that is tied to eBay sales too, which kind of makes those prices pop a little because.
At the end of the day, you paid a great price for a very good condition book. There's nothing to be upset about that. Yeah.
Great book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we don't call this Silver Age Dudes comics and other collectibles for no good reason. It's not all about comic books. Most of it is, but not all of it. So I've actually wanted to show this for quite some time. I just never seem to get around to it. And it's one of my prized possessions. This is the Toronto Blue Jays opening program, Volume 1, Number 1 from 1977.
Very first game at Exhibition Stadium, very first game of the franchise, and with your ticket there, the book looks in pretty good condition considering it's, 41 years old?
That's right, and I used to flip through the book all the time when I was a kid. I loved the Blue Jays.
What makes it even more special is, of course, that you were there, so it's actually something connecting you to your childhood. I mean, 41 years ago, wow, yeah.
Me too, got one as well.
Oh, so you were at the game as well?
I was at the game, and I got the program in our family cedar chest, yes.
Well, I guess I'm the odd one out there. No, I mean, I got into baseball in about 1982, 83 when they started being competitive. You know, that 84 season, the Tigers ran out to that, 30-5 start, and by the next year, they were actually the 85. They made their very first playoffs, right? So, yeah, I got into that, and I've been, like I said, a lukewarm baseball supporter. For me, it's soccer and baseball. The Blue Jays and my team Arsenal. For you, it's Liverpool. You know, we love the Premier League.
Liverpool and New Orleans Saints, but I mean, we do like the Jays, and there's something special about being at the opening game of a brand new franchise at Old Exhibition Stadium in 1977. It was cold, it was snowing, we were playing the Chicago White Sox.
And we won.
But what was funny is, before the game started, the whole stadium was packed, and everybody was shouting, "We want beer! We want beer!"
Absolutely.
And even the White Sox outfielders, they all turned to the crowd, and they were all just like laughing because they just loved it. It was just a really great atmosphere, and like Jose said, we did win the game, 9-5, and just a great day, a great game. It's one of those memories that you'll have forever. Not only being there, but I also have a physical
reminder of your experience there. And at the end of your life, what do we have? Just memories, really. And that's
just the beginning of the city growing and growing from there.
It's great having that memory. Well, great collectible.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. And I'm just going to mention one last thing before we end this segment. Guys, don't cut me off, so I just get through this really quickly. There's no pictures of him in Cooperstown. There never will be. There's a name that you'll never remember, and a person that very few baseball fans will ever know. But in 1977, in that first game, there was a player on that team that knocked 2 home runs out of the park that day.
Doug Alt?
It was Doug Alt.
Yes,
and he was my favorite baseball player for years. And my first big baseball hero. I just absolutely idolized Doug. And unfortunately, a few years ago, old Doug, he committed suicide. Things didn't go all that well for old Doug after his baseball career ended. But, for me, like I said, there'll never be a picture of him in Cooperstown. But to me, he'll always be a Hall of Famer. Okay, the nice thing about going into Retro Rare comics and collectibles, which is basically our major haunt in Mississauga. This is where we spend a lot of our Saturdays.
It's our local.
Yeah, the nice thing about going in there is you never know what you're going to find because every week there's something new.
That's why we're there every week, it seems. And we recently came upon a stash of Frank Cho material that Sandy had bought from a person who apparently had helped Mr. Cho with his website. There was tons of materials, long boxes of books, and lots of limited edition mini posters, and this is actually one of them. I picked up a couple, but Mike, this is your copy, and you got it very nicely framed too.
This is fantastic.
It turned out so well.
And actually framing, there is framing at the Retro. His friend there, Gordy, does excellent work there on site. So basically you don't have to cart it around. After you bought it, you just move it over and give it to Gordy and he'll frame it for you.
Just walk to the back of the store, give it the old Gordy, and he'll take care of you. Yeah.
Gordy does really professional archival stuff. Everything done can be undone so that your original print is exactly what, for some reason, if you wanted a gray frame, it can be undone and redone, no problem. It is preserved 100%.
Wow, I love Good Girl art, man. Like, there she is, Liberty Meadows. Wow.
Liberty Meadows. And
look at those pom-poms.
That is the cover of the #1 comic book that was put out with Dark Horse.
Okay.
Back in, I think, about '97. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
It was before I started collecting, actually. I'm a newbie.
I'm aware of the character, but I don't really have anything of
Yeah.
Liberty Meadows in my collection.
But that print is shown a lot in a lot of his artwork books.
Oh yeah,
and
it
there's
is.
posters that are signed too. People get the posters signed.
Yeah, and this one's a very limited edition. It's only an edition of 100.
Yeah.
So that's
San
what you
Diego
want.
Comic-Con 2005, limited to 100. This is number 67.
Wow.
Signed by both Frank Cho and
Brandon Peterson.
Brandon Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, when do you buy this? As
What?
Mike and Frank from American Pickers would say, when it's in front of you.
Yeah, and that's a nice snag. We got a very good price from Sandy, and again, a good price framing it. I picked up a couple myself, which we'll show in a future
And I'm
episode.
jealous of yours too, but
They're nice,
I
too.
love this too.
Yeah.
Man,
And it is a spectacular piece. And again, presentation-wise, it's absolutely amazing. Triple matted with preservation UV glass, so you don't have to worry about it fading over time if it's in front of fluorescent lights.
and he airbrushes in the colors to pull it all in.
Yeah.
On the mats, yeah,
the mats.
exactly. It makes it
Custom.
really pop.
So that is really something you can be proud of, Mike, and you can display that for years and years.
All preservation. Beauty.
Fantastic, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yes, yes.
Okay, next up we've got High End Jose, and he's doing another new old book segment, if I'm not mistaken.
Or you could call it kind of a spotlight. We have a movie dropping that is the Infinity War, and that's the next big Marvel movie that's going to end the Phase 4 Marvel Universe. We're going to see a lot of people possibly die, and we're definitely going to see some actors that have become comfortable with over the years leave their roles because of contracts, obligations here. So I thought I'd show two books. One, a relatively bargain price book, and a more expensive book, at least expensive in the higher grade. So let's start with the newer book, which is of course the Infinity Gauntlet issue #1 from July of '91, the first issue to the 6-issue limited series. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the best crossover series of the time, written of course by Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos.
Nice.
The character is heavily used in this limited series and is the main villain. Okay, the resurrection of Pip the Troll, Gamora, and Adam Warlock happens in this series. How this happens is sort of explained in this issue #1. However, Adam Warlock does not fully reappear in the really real Marvel Universe until issue #2 of the series. Now, Warlock is instrumental in defeating Thanos in the series, and this series culminates from the 2-issue Thanos Quest series prior to it. Now, some people in the market are arguing that Thanos Quest has the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, but I've read and reread that series, and I see no Infinity Gauntlet. That series does see the Mad Titan collect the gems, though. Now, the Thanos Quest series does also have Thanos decide that individual names should be given to the gems since they hold different powers. Yeah. Once the names are given, they turn to their specific colors. The Infinity Gauntlet is first seen in Silver Surfer issue number 44, which has a cover date of December 1990. Okay, the 47th Overstreet price splits for the 8, 9, and 9.2 grades are $19, $30, and $40 US. I think roughly a VF near mint 9.0 would be conservative guess for this thing. $25 Canadian is $20 US, so
Yeah.
I'm right there. Under guide, so technically bargain. If I remember correctly, it was picked up from a dealer from the December con, as we call it.
Cool.
And
So
it's still heating up, right?
And it's still heating up.
Yeah.
Yes, I would advise anyone, if you don't have this series, pick it up as well as the Infinity Quest before it.
the cool thing about a book like this is some unsuspecting dealer could inadvertently throw it into their $5 bin, not realizing what.
Yeah, it could
Probably.
happen.
It's
Yeah.
happened so many times.
Yeah. Okay, so what else we got on
All
there?
right, so we have now the higher price book in a higher grade, or what I think is a higher grade anyway. $150. Okay,
Wow.
so here we have Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2 from December of 72nd. This is the saga of Thanos ends. It has the barrier of Warlock, Gamora, and Pip. Now, in this issue, the Spidey and Thing join in the fight against Thanos in this issue. And this issue ends the second crossover storyline for Thanos, for a short time anyway. And the heroes in Avengers Annual 7, Barry, Warlock, Gamora, and Pip. Sources also say that this issue contains the first appearance of Master Order and Lord Chaos in this issue. But I have no idea if it's just a cameo or not, since I haven't really looked at the book. I mean, what can I do? I paid up for it because I think it's a high grade. I have trouble determining grades for white cover books. I've been wrong before, both good and bad. Now, I mean, what happens here? Well, in the end, Warlock briefly returns from the Soul Gem and traps Thanos inside a husk of stone. The Warlock returns inside the Soul Gem. Now, the next time that we would see Thanos return is in Silver Surfer issue number 34. Yeah, I know that guy Thanos. He never knows how to quit. Yeah. You know what? I am really looking forward to that. That is going to be a huge movie. It's so huge, like I said, that it's going to be in 2 parts, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't have my notes handy for the Overstreet, so I'm just going to quote the comic book realm for the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits are currently at $85, $95, and $97 US. Now, obviously, I think this is something, a very narrow range in the higher grades. We've always commented on that. I think enough said on that. Obviously, I think it's at least about a 9.4 near mint, and I'm hoping for more, maybe not.
Yeah.
I paid up for it. This is the second last book I needed for that Thanos saga. The only book I'm needing now is the Avengers Annual number 7, and I'll have the set.
Yeah.
From this angle, as a KS, wow, that is absolutely beautifully sharp.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
Pinpoint corner, it is a very nice book.
Well, if I can add this, I mean, it's a Pendragon pickup, and Pendragon can be a little bit pricey at times, but his product is absolutely astounding, and you know he's got some very high quality books, and you have to pay for them, but Jose, that's a beautiful copy, a really, really beautiful copy.
Yeah.
Take the price first and reverse it, and that's your grade, basically, for him.
Yeah, it's a great Starling cover. I'm glad I have it. I just wish I hadn't paid quite so much for it, but what are you going to do?
It'll keep appreciating. Anyways, that's a fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoy, hoy.
That one's 20. We went a day early. We wanted to.
Yeah, you certainly make
You going that way?
And, yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't.